Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. So if you clicked on your Introduction to Data Types Quarto file or file, you were able to look at what I'm looking at currently. And so what we want to do is spend time understanding different types of data types. So there's 4 that I will discuss today. And there's a lot of different types, but we're just going to focus on these 4 today. When it comes to the first type, it's integer. So if you think of an integer from mathematics, it's a whole number that could be either positive or negative. In R, they do something kind of weird by denoting the integer with L, but that's fine. As long as we, if we don't necessarily always have to put the L there, but in case you do see it, just know that that means that it's still an integer. So when I run this, pressing this green button here, this tells me that we have an integer. So I know you can't really see this on my screen, but if I move this down a little bit, you see it says environment. If I click on environment, it says my integer 42L. So that's that. That allows me to, at least in my environment, I'm able to see the information that I now have access to, called my integer. Okay. Okay, so let's keep on going. So now that we've looked at integers, let's talk about numeric values. Numeric values also include integers, but also could be a decimal as well. Okay, so here we have numeric. Numeric is the default type within R, and so when I look at my number, my numeric, when I press this green button, this now allows me to play. This allows me to see my numeric value 3.14, which is pi. Okay. So note that I'm storing my information within, at least this numeric value, into this idea called my numeric. If I were to erase this or backspace, if I were to press play, my numeric will not display. Right? It won't display. However, if I copy and paste this here and I press play, it will display again, as you can see here. Okay, so we have integers and we have numerical values. So numerics are anything with a decimal or integer or any whole number. Okay, so now we're going to move on to something different. Okay, a little different. Okay, and this concept is called a character. Okay, and a character, long story short, just has either a double quote or a single quote around it. Okay, so when I run this by pressing this play button, I'm going to see that I'm able to print my actual character. And as you can see now, it says hello R. What's interesting about this is that if I were to store, instead of a character or things that we consider to be characters, if I were to store a number in it, it would actually still treat it as if it's a character. Okay, so I'm just gonna run this and still get that it's a character. Okay, all right, so last but not least, we're going to look at this concept called a string. Strings in R are used interchangeably with characters. So if I were to refer to a string, I'm also calling it a character. So when I run this, next thing, my string, I'm able to then store this information as a string. Okay. So with that being said, I now have the ability to test my knowledge regarding this MT-CARS, and I'm going to say this terminology, data frame. We'll talk more about data frames in the next video, but I can actually look at the structure of my data frame, and you'll notice that every one of my data points, we'll talk about variables in a little bit, is numeric. That is it for this video, and I hope that you have a great rest of the day. Thank you.